Hey everyone, welcome to my second video that I am filming outside here with my new camera. And I thought I'd kind of talk about something for a second. Hold on for a sec. I thought I'd talk about something for a second. I thought I'd kind of ask a question. You know, with a lot of us kind of coming out and saying basically that Wrestlemania is shaping up to be a very forgettable Wrestlemania, even though it's going to be held here in my backyard of the Bay Area, Northern California. I guess the question is, with many people, from OTRS Central, Deluxe Man, British Fist, Solomonster, Don Tony, Kevin Castle, to just about anybody you can name that comes on here as a mark, as an overall mark, overall, easy for me to say, overall mark. I think the question anybody would ask is, even though we come out and say that this is going to be a forgettable WrestleMania, I think the question anybody would ask is, as much of a forgettable WrestleMania as this is shaping up to be, what is WWE going to do for a main event? You see, traditionally, the main event is always for the WWE World Title. Now, there have been some exceptions. There's no doubt about that. There have been several exceptions where the WWE Championship match has always been either in the middle or has been second to last. There have been many exceptions, many exceptions of that happening. But a majority of the time, the main event throughout the history of WrestleMania has been for the WWE World Championship. So the question's going to be now, with this shaping up to be a very forgettable WrestleMania, and in the eyes of many people at the WWE probably knowing that, what are they going to do to try to compensate for a main event? Knowing that the main event they got going right now, that many people picture they have scheduled right now, between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, could get booed out of Levi's Stadium like it's no one else's business, or like nothing that Levi's Stadium's ever heard before, or any wrestling or sports entertainment event has ever heard before. What could WWE do to make up for that? What could they compensate for that? We see, that's where the question of what will the real main event of WrestleMania be? What will be the last match that's going to close out the show? What's that going to be? Well, a lot of people still believe, like I said, it's going to be Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. A lot of people believe that. But if the WWE does have an idea that this, or does have some kind of inkling and knowledge that this is going to be a forgettable WrestleMania, and that this is a main event for the WWE Championship that nobody's going to really like, and the fact that everybody's going to boo the whole damn thing out of the building like nobody else's business, what can they do to make up for that? Well, I think I've come up with a few solutions. Now, there's only 3 matches that could benefit as being the main event for WrestleMania. One, of course, being for the WWE World Championship. They could go through with their idea. They can go through with putting this championship match on last and seeing how fans react. Now, a lot of people pretty much feel that the only saving grace at the end would be Seth Rollins cashing in to become champion. That's the only saving grace people have. But then on the other hand, there's a leaked script, if you will. If you want to take that with 2-3 grains of salt, there's a leaked script, if you will, for the finish of the main event. And that it basically does not involve Seth Rollins cashing in successfully, and it ultimately involves Vince McMahon firing Brock Lesnar. Now, like I said, if you want to believe that being the legit script, then fine, there you go. Go ahead and believe it. But who would want to see WrestleMania end with Vince McMahon holding up Roman Reigns' hands and arms in victory with him being the new champion? Maybe not a lot of people. I mean, pretty much in that one night, if you do that, you're going to turn Roman Reigns into a heel unintentionally. That's what you're going to do. Unless you're going to use WrestleMania as the launching point for McMahon versus Triple H in their power struggle feud. Unless that's what you're planning to do. Now, if WWE doesn't put this on as the main event, because maybe they'll realize that the crowd won't be too accepting of it and they're not going to want to go home unhappy, here's what I think is going to be the alternatives. You either got one alternative. The one alternative is Sting and Triple H. Here's what I'm talking about. The alternative of Sting and Triple H. Now, this has been building up pretty much since Survivor Series. And WWE has done a very good job with Sting. You know, they put him in the right spots at the right time. You know, it's basically made him that one counterpoint to the Authority that no matter what the Authority tries to do, Sting's always going to be one step ahead. And basically with the future of the WWE storyline-wise hanging in the balance, you know, and this whole situation building between Sting and Triple H, the question's going to be, has it been built enough to warrant the main event spot, the last match spot at WrestleMania? Think about this. You've been wanting to get Triple H under contract. Hold on for a second. Hold on. Hold on again. Sorry about that. Getting a lot of interruptions when I don't need them. But like I said, like I was asking, you know, with Sting and Triple H being built up the way they have built it, is it worthy enough of being the last match of the night, being the true main event? And I think a lot of people would argue and say yes, it does. Because here's the thing. if you're WWE, you have been waiting years, literally over a decade, almost a decade and a half, to get this guy Sting, the icon, the franchise of World Championship Wrestling, WCW, under contract in some way. But every time you've had an opportunity, he's shut you down. Now that you have him, you've put him in probably the biggest program you could think of for him to start out his career with your company, and possibly his final years in this business. Do you not think WWE is not considering putting him in the true main event, the last match of the night, to send people home happy? You want to treat him like a big deal? You want to say that they want to come out and say, hey, we think the world of you? Then this should be the main event. This should be the last match of the night. Because it's got a lot of build to it, a lot more build and story behind it than Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. It does. And you know, it's not, like I said, it's not the first time ever. It's not the first time either, I should say. Let's take a look at WrestleMania 26. Shawn Michaels, Undertaker. Here is a match. Career versus streak. That could have been done as the second to last match of the night. But the WWE knew that this was the rematch people wanted to see, and it was a WrestleMania defining match. It pretty much said, you know what, screw the WWE Championship match in a world title match, and whoever was I can't think who was champion at the time. But screw those two title matches. Let's put Taker Shawn Michaels as the main event. And that's what they did. They basically took the WWE Championship match and they said, screw it, that's not the main event, Taker Michaels is. Because pretty much everybody knew that was Michaels' last match. And it was against the streak. So that there is evidence that they will sometimes supplant or surpass the WWE Championship for the main event in favor of another match with more story to it, more meaning to it. And Sting and Triple H, no matter whether or not you want to see this match happen, has all of that plus more. Besides, what better way to end WrestleMania than to see the guy, the franchise, the face of WCW come in, get one over on Triple H, and basically stick it to the authority storyline-wise and put him down a peg to the point that they no longer have that power that they once thought they had. It makes it more meaningful and it sends the crowd home happy. So that there, in a sense, folks, is probably the most logical and most realistic main event and last match of WrestleMania, true main event of Mania, that the WWE can end with this year. But of course, I said there was 3 options. And if it ain't the WWE World Title match between Reigns and Lesnar, if it ain't Sting and Triple H, hold on for a second. Sorry about that, folks. Another telemarketer call. Guess spring break coming around, people are going to do this. But anyway, like I was saying, I did say there was 3 options. Like I said, if it's not Lesnar and Reigns for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship as the real main event, the last match of the night, and I apologize for the wind. And if it ain't Triple H Sting, a matchup, a feud, a story that has a matchup in a rivalry that has so much storyline to it and background, a lot of background story to it, that it cannot be denied that real main event, that last matchup, that last match slot on WrestleMania. Then unfortunately there is another. Now you might say, oh, excuse me. Now you might say, oh, Randy Orton, Seth Rollins? You could think that maybe as a wild card option, but no. I said 3. If it ain't Reigns Lesnar, it ain't Sting or Triple H that ends the show, that closes it out. Yeah, I think you know where I'm going with it. It's going to be for this that closes out the show between John Cena and Rusev. That's right. Those, to me, are your 3 main event options, this being the second to most likely one to happen if they don't go Reigns Lesnar, and if they don't decide to go Sting Triple H. This would be the most likely choice. Cena Rusev for the United States Championship. And I know a lot of you watching this and listening to this are like, oh please, no, not that, not Cena, not again. And I know, and I agree with you guys. You know, how many times is he going to be in the main event? But when you think about it, even though it's been a short time, not as long as Sting and Triple H, when you think about it, it does have more build and more story behind it than Rusev, I mean not Rusev, but than Reigns and Lesnar. And if they don't go with Reigns and Lesnar as the final match of the night, the one that closes out the show, and if they don't go with Sting and Triple H as being the one that closes out the show, then you know damn well they're going to go with Cena and Rusev. Think about it this way. If they go with Cena and Rusev, it pretty much catapults Rusev right into the main event spot and showcases that this guy is ready to take that next step and eventually possibly get his hands on this. That's pretty... And if you're a fan of Rusev in some shape or form, that would be a positive. That would be a plus. But again, that's only if WWE doesn't go with Sting and Triple H as the closing match of WrestleMania, or if they don't go with Reigns and Lesnar for the WWE World Title as the closing match of WrestleMania. Sorry about that. Phone rang again. Another telemarketer. But like I said, it makes. Like I said, as crazy as it sounds, it makes a lot of sense. And if you will, I mean, I know you may not be a fan of it. You know, I agree with you. You know, how many times is he going to be in the main event? How many times is that going to happen? But like I said, if you're a fan of Rusev in any shape or form, it catapults him to that main event. It shows he's ready. But that's only if they don't go in that direction of choosing it as to be in the closing match, aside from Sting, Triple H, or Reigns, Lesnar. You know that they're looking at this match for the United States Championship as a possibility. You can't sit there and deny that. You can't. I mean, let's go back to Hell in a Cell, as crazy as that sounds. No one thought that Rollins and Ambrose was going to close out the show in their cell match. Guess what? They did. They closed it out. They closed out the cell match. They did. Who's the one that was midway through with their cell match? Cena and Orton. Who was the ones that closed it out with their cell match? Rollins and Ambrose. A match nobody thought would get that, but it did. Who closed out the TLC pay-per-view? Ambrose and Wyatt. Nobody thought that was going to happen. It did. The point is, I know the WWE